Hi, I'm Desi Serna, author of Fretboard Theory. In this free guitar lesson, I'm going to show you how I play the popular Christmas carol, What Child Is This?, which is based on the traditional song, Greensleeves. You can follow along using free tab. Just go to the link in the video description. Now, I play this with a capo at the 3rd fret in the key of C minor, but I'm going to take it off and I'm going to show it to you in the open position so that the fret numbers and the notes match the notation that you're looking at exactly. Okay, so this is based in the key of A minor, and it's using some notes from the A minor scale, but it has an F sharp in there. You hear it in the melody on the 1st string here. So you could consider this a type of A Dorian mode using notes and chords from the G major scale. Or you could just think of it as A natural minor, but you're raising the 6th from F to F sharp. So you use the chords A minor, G, and then an E, or an E7, which produces the harmonic minor. E7's got that dominant function, which leads to A minor. And I'm going to teach this to you in steps. We're going to first just focus on the melody, then I'm going to show you how you can add some bass notes and begin to develop like a chord melody fingerstyle arrangement. Then I'll show you how you can fret and finger the full chords, kind of fill the space a little bit more. And I will be showing you how to do this with your fingers, and I'll show you how you can also do it with a pick. So to begin with, let's just focus on the melody. As you're looking at the tablature, you just want to look at the top notes. Ignore the bass notes for now. So the melody looks and sounds like this. That's what I call the A section, and there's a B section as well. I'll get to it in a second. But for now, just work that melody out. Take it, line by line, measure by measure, whatever it takes. Just get it memorized and rehearse it. This is what the B section sounds like. And when you're ready, you can work that out too, break it down. Just take a little bit at a time, rehearse it, and then gradually add a little bit more. There are some repeated phrases in the B section from the A section, so you should pick up on it quickly. Okay, the next step is to add in some bass notes. So if you're using a pick, you're going to have to put it down for this section. And what you're going to do is you're going to pick the melody with your fingers. Then you're going to add in some bass notes so you begin to hear the harmony. What you're going to do is just play the root of the chords. You can look above the staff and you can see the chords A minor, G, but I also have written in the tab the bass notes. So notice that the first measure you got a pickup note, but in the first full measure you have an A, the 5th string open, and you're going to pick it together with your melody note, which is the 1st fret of the 1st string. Then you'll just try to let that bass note ring for the continuation of the chord, and then you'll hit a new bass note when the chord changes. So let me play through this so you can hear what it sounds like and you can see what it looks like too. There's a pickup note, and then the bass notes and the melody begin. So just pay attention in the tab when you have a bass note together with the melody. They occur at the beginning of the measure, and your thumb's going to pick the bass note and your finger will pick the melody. So just work with that until you're comfortable with it. The next step would be to do the same thing with the B section. It looks and sounds like this. Be patient with this, especially if it's something new to you, playing fingerstyle. It takes extra patience. Just gradually work it out and rehearse until you're physically comfortable with putting the notes together like this. Okay, the next step would be to go ahead and fret and finger the full chords. That way you can pick some more of the chord tones and fill the space a little bit more. So from the beginning, it would look and sound like this. All right, so from the A minor here, I'm going to fret the A minor. There's my pickup note. And then my melody note is on the second string here. And I want to make sure I get the bass note in there. And then I can pick some of the other notes in between. So instead of just doing this, I could do something like this. Or maybe even, so you can either claw at it, or maybe a forward roll with your fingers. When you play chord melody, one approach is to put the melody, make the melody note the highest pitched note in the chord voicing. In other words, you don't want to go beyond it because then the melody gets lost. Since that melody note is the first note of the second string, if I strum past that, and if I strum the first string in the A minor chord, notice that the melody note is lost. In fact, you might even hear the first string as the melody if I do that. So you want to pick only as far as your melody note. And you can keep going. Now the next melody note is the first string, so you can pick to there. I lift my fingers for this and do a pull off. Then I go to a G. And for the G, I basically just fret the root G, and then I play strings 2, 3, and 4. That's my G chord, and I've got a melody note in there, the D at the 3rd fret on the 2nd string. So notice that when I begin the G, I pick to the 2nd string because that's where my melody note is. But on this last strum here, I only pick to the 3rd string because that's where my melody note is. I don't want to go beyond that, then the melody note will get lost. And I lift my fingers here usually. Back to A minor. And then E major. Again, I'm outlining that melody there. Okay, moving on. And then when I get to the E here, you could either hold an E and then reach up for that F sharp, or that's kind of an awkward stretch for me, so I often just do this. Although when you capo up, the frets are closer together, so you may be able to make that fingering better. And then you're back on A minor. Here's the whole thing from the beginning. So I may not always play this the same way twice. I'm giving you some ideas here, and you can work with it and figure out how to put together your own arrangement and exactly how you want to pick and how much you want to fill. Here's the B section. You go to a C chord, so you can fret a C chord, and here's your melody note, 3rd fret of the 1st string. So I like to kind of claw at it or roll into it and make it full as opposed to just going. G, A minor, E minor. Those parts are repeated from before, and back to C. And this part is the same. Okay, so that's how you could do it with your fingers. You could also do this with a pick. You would just strum through the chords and just make sure you stop at the melody notes so you emphasize it and it sticks out. It would look and sound like this. Sometimes in the A minor, I like to finish all fancy like that. Okay, here's the B section. So that's how you could do it with a pick. And then once you get an arrangement down, you can just put a capo on and play in different keys. So I like to put a capo at the 3rd fret. This puts me, and I play the very same fingerings and chord shapes, although I'm not an A minor anymore. Now that's a C minor. And it looks and sounds like this. So you can move the capo around and you can play in various keys and just pick whatever feels and sounds good to you, or perhaps you might pick a key that is in the range of your voice if you wanted to sing it. Well, that's how I play What Child Is This? And now you have some ideas of how you can put together your own arrangement. I want to point out that I do not sell any books or DVDs that teach the fingerstyle and chord melody technique. My materials focus on music theory for guitar, including guitar scales, chords, progressions, modes, and more. So if you'd like to learn more about guitar theory, then go to my website at guitar-music-theory.com and sign up for a free preview of my fretboard theory book and DVDs. Well, thanks for watching. Be sure to click like on this video and leave me some positive feedback.